When people talk about intuition, they often make it sound like a fleeting thought or a random guess, but in reality, that inner voice is often the most honest compass you'll ever carry. Have you ever felt a sudden calmness around someone? Not excitement that races like a storm, but a deep, steady peace that feels like home. That's your sixth sense trying to whisper to you that this connection is not ordinary. The beauty of this awareness is that it rarely shouts. Instead, it lingers quietly in the background, waiting for you to listen. When you meet someone and your instincts align in such a way that you feel almost certain they are meant to be part of your story, it's not just fantasy. It's the gathering of every silent observation you've ever made, their subtle expressions, their tone of voice, the comfort you feel when they walk into the room. Sometimes your mind hasn't yet caught up to what your inner self already knows. And that's where the sixth sense enters, pointing toward a truth your logic might still be questioning. This person is your true love. But here's where things often unfold differently than what we expect. Recognizing true love does not always mean immediate joy, or that everything suddenly falls into place like a perfectly written script. More often than not, your sixth sense identifies the right person before the journey with them truly begins. And in that gap between knowing and living, you'll encounter lessons, challenges, and moments of doubt. That's the but you will part of the story that few prepare you for. You will wait. You will wonder. You will sometimes feel tested in ways that make you question if you were wrong. But the strength of true love lies in its resilience. It survives hesitation, grows stronger with patience, and teaches both people to rise above temporary uncertainties. Think of it this way. A mountain is recognized from afar by its unique shape on the horizon. You can point to it and know it's there, yet reaching the peak requires effort, persistence, and often struggles with weather along the way. Love guided by intuition works the same way. You see the outline of something profound, but to experience its fullness, you'll need to climb together. And it's during this climb that the bond is tested, proven, and eventually solidified. Interestingly, people often mistake challenges as signs that they've misread their sixth sense. But in truth, these obstacles are often the very evidence of it being right. Why? Because only real connections are worth being tested by time, distance, misunderstanding, or personal growth. Fleeting attractions rarely survive such hurdles. True love, however, not only survives but thrives after passing through them. That's why your sixth sense might feel so certain, even when the surface of your relationship seems uncertain. Another part of the journey is timing. Sometimes, when your sixth sense identifies your true love, the timing of your lives may not yet align. Perhaps one of you is still healing, or one is still growing into the person capable of giving and receiving love fully. And here is where patience becomes a lesson. Your sixth sense may reveal the right person early, but it doesn't promise that everything will happen immediately. Instead, it invites you to trust, to allow life to shape you both until you are ready to meet not just as individuals, but as partners destined to walk the same path. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when you ask yourself, am I imagining this? Did I misread the signs? But think about it carefully. Why would your inner voice insist on this person more strongly than others you've met? Why does your mind return to them, not in restless longing, but in a way that feels meaningful, grounded, and deeply human? That is no coincidence. That is the very definition of a truth felt, not explained. And here's the part that surprises many. Your sixth sense may guide you toward your true love, but it will also guide you through self-discovery. Because in recognizing who they are to you, you begin to see more clearly who you are meant to become. Love is not only about meeting someone who completes you, it is also about growing into the person who can complete the journey with them. Your intuition knew them before you did, and in the same way, it knows the version of yourself you are becoming. So yes, your sixth sense is right. This person is indeed your true love. But you will also discover that true love is not about immediate perfection. You will face questions, hesitations, and sometimes even silence. Yet beneath all of that, you will feel an anchor pulling you back toward them every single time. That pull is not weakness, it's destiny in motion. It's the reminder that even in the face of challenges, something greater is at play. And perhaps the most beautiful truth is this: your sixth sense never abandons you. Even when you try to ignore it, even when fear tempts you to walk away, it quietly waits until you are ready to embrace what it always knew. That's why so many people, after years of searching, return to that one person their heart had recognized long ago. It wasn't about the distance or the delays. It was about life shaping both souls until they could meet as their truest selves. So, when you feel that certainty, honor it, trust that inner knowing. Because though the path may not be straightforward, though you will face both questions and confirmations along the way, your sixth sense is not lying to you. It is leading you towards something real, something rare, something that will not fade even when tested by time. When you realize that your sixth sense has pointed you towards someone, it feels both powerful and fragile at the same time. On one hand, there's an unshakable inner conviction that this person holds a place in your destiny. On the other hand, you begin to notice how life does not simply open all doors at once. Instead, you find yourself in moments where the connection feels tested, where silence lingers, and where your faith in what you know deep down is quietly examined. This is the part most people don't talk about, the part where love is certain in spirit but uncertain in reality. You may feel close to this person yet also watch them drift slightly away at times. You may sense their heart but see them hold back with words or actions. And during such moments, doubt doesn't just knock, it sits at your table. But here is the beauty hidden in those moments. True love is not weakened by hesitation, it is shaped by it. What your sixth sense revealed to you is not simply about a relationship, it is about transformation, about allowing two imperfect souls to gradually discover what it means to belong together. Think about how rivers carve through rocks. They don't do it with a single strike, but with a steady persistence over time. In the same way, love recognized by intuition is not built in a day. It flows slowly, reshaping both people until they create a space where their hearts can meet with clarity. You will wait, yes. You will wonder. You will sometimes feel stretched thin by the uncertainty. But through it all, you will also discover patience, trust, and resilience, qualities that prepare you to not only recognize true love, but to sustain it. Another truth often overlooked is that your sixth sense doesn't just identify the right person. It prepares you for them. You may think the waiting is pointless, but in that waiting, life is quietly shaping you. Perhaps you need to grow more confident in who you are. Perhaps they need to heal from an old wound. Perhaps both of you need to walk separate journeys that will eventually converge at the right moment. So when you wonder why it feels delayed, remind yourself, the delay is not denial, it is design. Still, this doesn't mean the journey is always easy. There will be times when you question your feelings deeply. Maybe you will even try to push them aside, convincing yourself that it's safer to move on. But notice what happens when you do. The thought of them lingers anyway, not in a restless or unhealthy way, but as if their presence has quietly taken root in the soil of your heart. That is why your sixth sense cannot be silenced. It is not obsession, it is recognition. And recognition cannot be erased by distance, silence, or circumstance. This is also why you may find signs scattered across your life that gently remind you of them. A random memory resurfaces at the exact moment you needed clarity. A song plays unexpectedly and pulls you back to the first time you truly noticed them. Even in dreams, their face may appear when you least expect it. Some call these coincidences. But when your intuition has already confirmed the truth, these are not coincidences. They are reminders. They are life's way of whispering. Stay steady, you are on the right path. And yet, here lies the challenge. True love identified by your sixth sense is not about living in fantasy. It's about living with faith while walking through reality. That reality includes days when communication feels unclear, when your paths don't align smoothly, or when both of you must make difficult choices separately before you can truly choose each other. Many people give up here. They think if it's meant to be, it should be easy. But the truth is almost the opposite. What is shallow fades quickly. What is deep demands growth. There will also be a moment, subtle but unmistakable, when you realize why you had to wait, why you had to go through uncertainty, why you had to trust the unseen. That moment comes when you see how the struggles carved both of you into stronger, wiser, more open versions of yourselves. And in that instant, the puzzle pieces align, and the sixth sense you trusted is finally confirmed not by whispers but by reality. But here's another surprising part of the journey: you will change. True love doesn't only bring happiness, it brings responsibility. Your sixth sense may have pointed you to the right person, but it also calls you to rise and become the right person for them. That means letting go of old fears, being brave enough to communicate with honesty, and showing up with consistency. Love may begin with instinct, but it grows with choice. And when your intuition has already revealed that this is the person, your daily choices will be the bridge that turns instinct into reality. So, yes, your sixth sense is right, but you will also be stretched. You will be tested. You will be asked to wait when your heart longs to rush. You will be asked to trust when your mind demands proof. You will be asked to grow when it would be easier to remain the same. And through all of that, you will discover that true love is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. It is about faith in the unseen and commitment to the seen. When you look back one day, you will not just remember the sweet beginnings or the moments of certainty. You will also remember the waiting, the questioning, the long nights of wondering, the times you almost gave up but didn't. And in those memories, you will see the real proof of love. Because only true love makes you hold on when everything else tells you to let go. Your sixth sense knew before you did. It saw beyond fear, beyond timing, beyond appearances. It saw the truth of the bond, the depth of the connection, and the resilience of two hearts meant to walk together. And even though the path may feel uncertain now, you will one day see that it was all leading to the same destination, a love that was always yours, waiting for both of you to be ready. By now, you have come to understand that when your inner voice tells you someone is your true love, it's not offering you a shortcut. It's inviting you into a journey. The certainty you felt wasn't an illusion, but it was also not a promise of immediate ease. Instead, it was a glimpse into something deeper, a connection that will shape the story of your life in ways you cannot yet fully see. But here is the part most people overlook. True love is not about reaching a final destination. It is about growing into it day by day. You may have spent time waiting, questioning, or even resisting, but the bond that keeps returning to you is there because it is meant to last. And lasting love doesn't arrive fully formed. It is built through choices, through moments of courage, through small acts of devotion that seem ordinary at the time, but later become the foundation of everything you share. When your sixth sense first spoke, it planted a seed of awareness. Over time, that seed sprouted into conviction, and now, as your journey continues, you begin to realize that true love is not simply found, it is cultivated. It requires two people who, despite fears and uncertainties, are willing to meet each other halfway. It asks you to listen more than you speak, to forgive more than you hold grudges, and to trust even when circumstances feel heavy. There will be times when this love feels almost effortless, like breathing. You'll share laughter that feels unforced, silence that feels comfortable, and moments so ordinary they become extraordinary because you're experiencing them together. But there will also be times when love feels like work. Days when misunderstandings arise, when responsibilities weigh heavily, or when distance, physical or emotional, makes it harder to stay connected. And yet, this is where the strength of your sixth sense becomes clear. Because even in those hard moments, something within you knows this is worth it. You don't give up. You don't walk away. Instead, you remember the quiet certainty you once felt, and it pulls you back again. But here's something even more remarkable. Your sixth sense was not only about recognizing them, it was also about awakening you. Through this person, you will discover layers of yourself that might have stayed hidden otherwise. Love has a way of holding up a mirror showing you your strengths and your vulnerabilities all at once. You may discover patience you didn't think you had, bravery you never knew you could express, and a tenderness that grows deeper with time. This is why your intuition felt so strongly about this connection, because it was never just about them, it was also about the transformation you would undergo through them. And then at some point, you will reach a place of quiet clarity. You will look at this person and realize that all the waiting, the doubts, the tests were not barriers. They were bridges. Every challenge was preparing you. Every delay was shaping you. Every silence was teaching you to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. That's when your sixth sense and your reality finally align. What you always knew inside becomes what you now live outside. True love, once fully embraced, has a way of softening life's sharp edges. It doesn't remove problems, but it gives you the strength to face them. It doesn't guarantee constant happiness, but it gives you meaning even in struggle. It doesn't erase the past, but it helps you write a new future where the lessons of yesterday become the wisdom of tomorrow. And perhaps most beautifully, it turns two people into companions, partners, and co-creators of a shared story that is richer than anything they could have written alone. But you will also realize something else. Your sixth sense was right, yet it was not complete. It showed you the beginning, not the whole. Love is not something you confirm once and then forget. It is something you continue to choose again and again. Every sunrise, every challenge, every season of life will invite you to reaffirm that choice. And with every choice, the bond deepens, becoming less about intuition and more about lived truth. So what does this mean for you? It means the journey isn't over just because your sixth sense revealed your true love. It means your task now is to nurture it, to protect it, and to allow it to grow into something that not only sustains you but also inspires others. Because when people see a love that has endured uncertainty, that has grown stronger through trials, they begin to believe in love again. Your story becomes more than your own. It becomes a quiet reminder to others that true love still exists, and that sometimes listening to that still, small voice inside can lead you to the most extraordinary part of your life. And in the end, when you look back, you won't only remember the first moment you felt certain, you'll remember the journey that followed, the nights you held on when you could have let go, the days you laughed until your heart was light, the arguments that turned into understanding, the waiting that turned into fulfillment. You'll remember that your sixth sense was not just right. It was a gift, a guiding light that led you through uncertainty into the kind of love that endures, heals, and transforms. Yes, your sixth sense is right. This person is your true love, but you will also realize something greater. True love is not simply about finding the right person. It is about becoming the right person with them. And together, you will write a story that proves intuition is not just a whisper in the mind, but a truth that lives in the heart, waiting for its moment to be fully seen.